Yeah, hello there and welcome back, and let us continue with our lesson over here. And today we are going to see how we can add a scrollable. So which means we want to make our row over here as a scrollable. So we will add some more content and make it as a scrollable. And we'll do the same thing on the SwiftUI and in the Compose. So let us get started with it. So we can go to this column section, and on top of this particular row I will just go and add a new single child scrollable scroll view. So let us add this single child scroll view, and it takes a child over here. And let me create that, give a comma over here, and let's cut this section and let's paste over here. So just paste it over here, and we don't need this particular comma over here. And let's add a proper intent over here. And once we are done with that, what I can do over here is now you can just run this program, and you will see that nothing has changed and we are unable to scroll. So that's because there is nothing more to scroll over here. The space covered over here is not scrollable because we don't have enough content over here. So what we need to do is let's add some more content. So for this size box, I will wrap this one with padding, and let's give a padding of the 8, I guess. And let me copy this one, so we have more content over there. So let me paste it over here as a 3. I guess that should be scrollable anyhow. So let's try to run this one, and you will see that it got an overflow, which means that now we have a content that is bigger than the screen size. That is good for us. So now we can make it scrollable. So what we can do over here is let's go to this scroll view, and it has a property of the scroll direction. And let's go and add the scroll direction, and it should be of the axis dot the horizontal, because by default the axis is on the vertical. So the horizontal means the row over here. So let's add that one, and now you can see that the overflow has been gone, and we can actually scroll this particular content over here. So you can see that we are able to scroll this, and that's look fine. So you can do the same concept over here for our column over here. So we also have a column over here, and if you want to make it scrollable, or if there is an overflow, or if you want to add some more content over here and want to make it scrollable, you can just wrap it with the single child scroll view over here. So that's all for the Flutter. And the next is that we need to do the same thing for our SwiftUI and also for the Compose. So let's move on to our next project on the SwiftUI. So we are here on our SwiftUI demo project, which is on the Xcode. So what I will do over here is I will go to my home screen view, and on this particular view stack, so let's add a scroll view over here. So I'll just take a scroll view, and it takes some property on the axis. So I'll just say dot, I will make it as a vertical or the horizontal. So we need to scroll to the horizontal. So since you are working with the edge stack or the row, if you consider it, so let's add a horizontal. And what I will do is I'll just I think what we can do is we can just grab this one and paste it inside this particular scroll view, right? And if you want to add some more content and make it more scrollable, so what we can do over here is we can add this image, I guess. So let's go to the image, because this is a large image, and let me copy this one from here. And what I can also do is I can add some more image. So let me add one more image set, and I'll just give this one a name as image2, and let's get some image and drag it over there. So let me grab the image, let me take one more image from here, and let me put it over here. And I guess the spelling is not correct, so let me rename this one as a image2, right? and that should be fine. So once we have that, let's go and copy this section, and let's go to our home scroll view, and inside this edge stack let us add that particular image, and we can also give the size. So what I can do is, this should be of image 2 over here, and let us try to rebuild this one over here. And since this is fitting the content, so what we need to do is we need to make it sizable, because that edge stack we don't want to cover it to the whole screen. So I can just give it a frame or something over here, and I can set it as a width of, let's say 100, and the height, let's give it as something like a 50. So that should constrain the image size to the width and height of the 100 by the 50 over there. And now we can see that we have that, but it's still scrollable, but there is not much content to scroll, right? So whenever you see on the iOS, if there is a scrollable, so it's has this particular nice looking animation over here, right? So what we can do is we will just copy this and create some more content so it can actually scroll that particular view. So let's rebuild this one, and now you can see we are able to scroll over here. So that's great, right? So we created a scroll view and added the stack, which is you can consider as a row over here, and then we added the content inside it. So you can do the similar concept on to this particular view, which is of the v stack or the column over here, and then that should be defined. And the next step is that we need to implement the same concept on our compose. So let us get started over there. So let me open my compose project over here, and in the previous, what we have created is we have created a row over here, and we have added our this particular view over here. So what we can do is, in the row there is a modifier that we can actually use, and that will be of the let's say a modifier, and then the modifier that we have dot, we will have to scroll it to the horizontal scroll, because it is a row and we want to scroll it and in a horizontal direction. And here we need to pass in the scroll state, scroll scrollable. Remember scrollable scroll state, so just pass it over there, and that should be fine. And let's try to run our application from here, and let's wait for it to rebuild over there. And I guess that's already rebuilt, so you can go over here and you can see that this is now scrollable content, so we can scroll it. And that's the row modifier that we can add. And there is another way to actually do it, and a much better way. If you have a large content, I would recommend you to use a lazy column. So there is another option. You can just go and Google search about the lazy column and the lazy row in the compose, and you will know that there is an option, and how we can do it much more better than compared to this one. So if you have just a few of the view, that should be fine, but if you have a large content, then you should be using a lazy row and the lazy column. So that's the homework. You can just go and Google search about it and get to know more about it. And I guess that's all. And in this lesson we learn about how we can create a scrollable content, or especially the row, in the Compose UI and in the SwiftUI, as well as in the Flutter. So I guess that's all for this lesson, and we'll meet up in the next lecture. Till then, have a great day.